I do want to talk about the Green Bay Packers. They got a big game coming up against the Texans, a team I think they're going to be tied to for a while, both. I think for two reasons. One, I think these teams could be a little bit of mirror images of each other. LaFleur, obviously more established and is an offensive coach, but maybe it's my football sensibilities. I think DeMeco Ryans is already great and is going to continue to ascend as being a truly great football coach, a culture setter, having great defenses, and understanding that how to hire the right coaches to develop the offense. C.J. Stroud being option number one. C.J. Stroud's start of his career is remarkably more impressive than the start of Jordan Love's career because, C.J. Stroud has been doing this as a rookie, now second-year player. Jordan Love hit the ground running in a fourth year. So year 1, 2, and 3, Jordan Love was doing bupkis, while C.J.
Also not
Stroud,
his fault.
doesn't matter. C.J. Stroud hit the ground running and took his team to the playoffs in year 1 as a starter. That is a more remarkable and impressive start to your career than hitting the ground running in year 4, your first year as a starter. But you got to assimilate yourself. Like, for an example, Caleb Williams right now is the first number 1 overall quarterback in NFL history to have a winning record after 6 games. Now, C.J. Stroud had a better C.J. Stroud had an outstanding rookie season, and I'm just saying that Caleb Williams, number 1 pick, I just saw that stat. Like, that's how hard it is to win as a rookie. And especially you go to these teams. C.J. Stroud went to a team that was not very good with the Texans.
And that was always the thing last year too, was that they were always comped because both teams were so young too.
Right, but again, the Texans were so much more impressive. Stroud. Like, Ryans came in and turned around a dead organization. That team earned the second overall pick, and he brings in C.J. Stroud, and then they bring in Will Anderson. One wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, one wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. The entire culture of that team flipped in a year, and now they are contenders to go to Super Bowl, just like the Packers. Now, I'm not saying that as an organization, the Packers are not further ahead or Jordan Love isn't further ahead as a quarterback, but I'm saying pacing-wise, the quick turnaround and what C.J. Stroud has done in year 1 and now into year 2 at quarterback is truly one of the rarest things we've ever seen in football. And so it's worth pointing that out. So that's why I think these two teams will be paired together for a very long time, because I think they're both going to be very good for a very long time. The Texans are coming into town. No Nico Collins, but they got Joe Mixon back. They still have Stephon Diggs. They still have Tank Dell. They're a very talented team. This is a good challenge for the Green Bay Packers. I guess I don't want people to get all caught up if I say they failed their challenges, but Philadelphia, the first playoff caliber team they played, also the first game of the year, they lost that game. Now the other playoff caliber team, Minnesota, they lost that game. Now it's another opportunity to face Houston, a playoff caliber team, a chance to challenge yourself if you're the Green Bay Packers. And for me, I think the Packers, this is my statement, the Packers have to beat the Texans for me to truly consider them a Super Bowl contender, a Super Bowl caliber team, because I think they can be, but you got to show it to me one time this year, at some point, that you can be a Super Bowl caliber team. The Vikings have beaten the Packers, they've beaten the Texans, they've beaten the 49ers. Like, that, to me, especially, again, I will maintain this, if Kirk Cousins was healthy last year, the Vikings are making the playoffs, not the Packers. So the Vikings are a hell of a team that just lost their quarterback last year, and I think they're going to be a team that's going to be contending, and the Detroit Lions are beating teams that have playoff aspirations. So the Packers, once they knock off Houston, and I think they're going to, but so once they do that, then it's like, yeah, I will absolutely put them as Super Bowl contender.
You think the Packers are, like, you can easily say that?
No, I think it's going to be a 3-point kicker, a 3-point win, and their new kicker is going to be the guy that is the defining factor.
Don't even put that out in the universe.
That's how I think that. I think these two teams are very evenly matched, and I think it'll be the Packers having an opportunity to win the game very late with a kick. So I think the Packers are going to win, but I do think they need to win this game for me to be able to truly consider them Super Bowl contenders. Just beat one playoff team, and then we were off and running.
I don't know if I'm on board with off and running, but I will feel more confident if they can stack this win with a dominant win that they had last week. And I know that the Cardinals are a totally different caliber team, obviously. We all know that. But if they can stack another win where everything looks good on all sides of the ball, that if the defense looks competent, if offense looks competent, like, I'll be happy if they win, and I will feel more confident moving forward. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, but if, I don't know, like, is a win in this game? Like, if we take, are we just going to say a win is a win and we're good with it? Or, like, if the offense looks atrocious at some points, but then the defense looks great and that's what keeps them in the game and they end up winning it, are we going to feel good about that as Packer fans?
To me, a win's a win against a team like Houston.
Like, they're a good team. I'm just going to have a hard time moving forward with my belief that they're a Super Bowl caliber team, that the Packers are a Super Bowl caliber team, if they put together a sloppy win against the Texans.
So you're going style points too. Style points matter to you.
For sure. I think you're at that point in the season where it does matter what you look like, that a win isn't just a win. Like, they looked really good against the Cardinals last week. I mean, certain parts of it didn't, but for 95% of it, to me, they looked really good. And maybe it's because the Cardinals are really bad. But I think they need to put together a really good win against this team in order for me to feel like very confident moving forward, especially considering they have the Lions in 2 weeks. And I don't want to overlook the Jags either, but they have the Lions in 2 weeks. And I'm like, whew, we're getting into the thick of the schedule here soon.
Right. I mean, I don't know what the most likely outcome will be, but there's a world where the Packers could be, what are they now, 4-2?
Yep.
They could be 5-4, and their one win being versus Jacksonville, and you don't feel great. There's also a world where they could be, 7-2, and there's a world, and I think this is the most likely, they split against Detroit and Houston, and they beat Jacksonville. I think that's the most likely scenario.
I don't think I'd be mad at that likely scenario, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't like the fact that both those games that you're referencing, though, with the Texans and the Lions, those are both at home, though, so that means that they lose a home game. I don't love that, but I don't think I'd be upset. I mean, of course I want to win, but I'm not going to be mad that they lost to one of those two teams that we're talking about being a Super Bowl caliber team.